Do a quick edit on this photo by Ernest Hahn. It's on Facebook. He gave me permission to take this off Facebook, and I wanted to. He was concerned about this separation between the subject and the background, causing a. I do see a little fringe here that's causing a effect that makes it feel like this bird was cut and paste on the background. And what I think we have is artifacting from, I believe this was taken in JPEG, so there's in-camera processing, and then of course when you put it on Facebook there's some processing there too, but uh, presumably Ernest saw this in his JPEG file originally, so this may be in-camera processing causing this little edge, and what you can see this fringe here of those pixel transition between the subject and the background, and you can see almost white pixels, or oops, got my grid view going on there. These little white fringes. So there's probably numerous ways in Photoshop to fix this. I guess what I would do to be expedient here is I'm going to just grab my clone tool, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a smaller brush. Use my Option key on a Mac to get a source point close to where I'm going to work. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just try to defringe this manually just to see if this will actually solve the problem. We're not sure. We're curious about how to make this picture look better, and so everything is subjective to a degree, and also trial and error. A bit of trial and error happens. So we make some corrections, we look at it and see if we're making progress. Now, it's kind of weird because it seems to me like the top of the bird is a little too flat. Again, a low res image, about 8 megapixels. And shoot, how'd I get that? I got to zoom out, I guess. Little squares on there. I'll go for a smaller brush, a little bit smaller. I might take a little bit of clone from here just to fix this top of the bird's head a little. Some darker pixels. Come in here. A little bit more rounded. I mean, we don't want to actually alter the image, but now there's some white ones right in there behind that feather. Now, for some reason, when I come in close like that, it's just going pixel by pixel. Not used to working on low-res images like this. I usually work on a raw file I've taken myself. You can see this, so we can zoom out. That's annoying. Oops, that's my paddle. I want to zoom out. Sorry. Okay. Quickly, I gotta move fast. I don't want this video to be too long, but here's what I'm doing. I'm using the clone stamp and working the edge and getting these ugly artifacting and ugly pixels. Again, it helps just to shoot in RAW, and I shoot RAW plus JPEG, and then if I just need to push something out fast, and a lot of times you don't have this problem, so you're fine with the JPEG, but it's nice to have that raw file so we can actually have all the data the camera captured to work on. And then we can convert it to JPEG for posting and stuff. So here we go. So this is the process. I'm maybe not going to do the whole bird because in the interest of keeping this video short. But you can see how you could just work along the edge here with your clone stamp. There's a defringing tool, I think, in filters, or is it? That might be a good way to go. Also, you can do things with, if you make a selection on the bird, let's just do that really fast and see if that's also a possible solution. Go like this, and let's just take our magic wand real fast. I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm a little more careful but when I'm making a video. So when you make a selection, I use the magic wand tool there. You come up here to select and mask. You can see your selection and you can refine the selection. You know, you can come along and scrub along the edge and get, really Photoshop does a great job getting in there. If you like you wanted to get in there between the legs and stuff. That's the thing. They do have this sort of smooth edge. I'm going to try that. I don't usually use this tool. You can feather the edge. That gives you a gradient of the selection you have in pixels, so you could do that too. I'm going to try smooth edge just for fun, just to see. And I do that, and then zoom back up. I still see artifacting here. That didn't really help at all. And if I don't like it, I can always throw that away. Anyways, that's okay. The other things I do to this picture, and actually, frankly, I'm going to deselect the owl there, is frankly, I do the cropping step in advance of any work. So, you know, there's no sense of editing pixels that you're not going to use. So if you hold the shift key, you can retain your proportions. Since this is a small file, I'm not really militant about trying to retain my proportions. Some people are. But what I would do is, I think I'd get that twig out. I'm going to leave, since we only have 8 megabytes, I'm going to leave this branch in here. These branches give us a little bit of a framing element, a little base to the image for the owl to support this owl, and we don't have to crop too much so that we don't lose all our data. So I'd do something like that, and I like that. On color, so these warm evening lights, it's nice light, but sometimes it's, I want to say muddy or a little flat. I use, I like to use levels, and I'll come in here, and this is an experiment. I do this just to see what I'm working with. Here's the histogram of the data that was captured, and or at least what we got after it got processed by JPEG and by Facebook. I bring these in just to where the data begins, if it's off the data like that. Just pop it in right there, and you're going, oh, that looks horrible, doesn't it? You get all 3 channels together, it looks a little better. Still looks a little green. I'll put a little magenta back in. And that, I don't know, that looks better to my eye. You can then pop up to RGB and, mess with your density a little bit if you want. I would probably make the selection on the owl too and just work on the owl independent of the background. But just to give an idea, let's see where we started. Well, we'll go to the crop. And then that's what I just did. To me, it looks better, but again, this is subjective. This is the photographer's taste and what they saw when they were at the scene. That's important here. So anyways, there is a semi-fixed photo. I didn't go all the way around the owl or anything in the interest of speed. Did it make it better? I'm not 100% sure, but I hope it did, and I'm going to pop it back out to Ernest to see if he likes it better. One final thing I think is very important is under Photoshop File Info. We see there, this is where you'd find your camera data. I think this got stripped out by Facebook or whatever. But it's important to know to protect your copyright. So I would always, before I posted to Facebook, I would set these things up. Use Option G on a Mac to get that copyright symbol. There's Ernest's copyright, and he's the author. So I'm going to put his name there. And you can put keywords like owl and bird and stuff like that here. You get the idea. And that's where you put your caption, I think that's a short-eared owl, but I don't know for sure. So I'll let Ernest do that. Say OK to that. Now you've got some embedded metadata that declares this photo is yours, and it is copyrighted, written by you. So you can put information in there too, how people could contact you if they want to use that photo. So anyways, that's a quick tutorial. Maybe it makes it better. It's a great photo, so we don't want to discard it because something's troubling our eye when we've got Photoshop to fix those things. Hopefully that's better. And thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing this image so we could explore this together. Have a great day.